So I want to update everybody on the investigation that's been unfolding most of the day out here. Around 7:30 this morning, the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department SWAT team executed a search warrant here at a home on Dewey near Delor. That search warrant was a success, and we were able to secure the residence along with the property. That is when our federal law enforcement partners started to assist SLMPD execute that search warrant, and that is the equipment and the search that you see behind me. The FBI is helping us in that process. This is related to a missing person investigation. This was an investigation that started several years ago, and we have not stopped since, and that is what led us out here today. We have to develop some new information that led officers and detectives to get enough information to execute a search warrant here at the home. I can tell you that as of right now, suspected narcotics have been found inside the home. That is the only thing that our detectives have been able to locate so far. Two people have been detained, a male, a 43-year-old, and a female. She is 39. She was taken into custody because of an outstanding warrant. It's my understanding it was for a domestic. At this point, I want to dispel some rumors that have been circulating on social media, and that is things from a mass grave to babies. It is deplorable that people would spread that type of misinformation in our community, cause panic and fear to spread without getting it verified information and posting it and redistributing it. So I thank each of you for being responsible and helping get the truth and the facts out about what happened. Again, just to reiterate, as of right now, no human remains have been located. The only thing that we have found is suspected narcotics, and we have detained two people relative to that. At this point, I will open it up to some questions.
What can you tell us about the missing person report that this is related to?
I can tell you that it is not a recent missing person. This is a missing person case that has been investigated for several years, and that is what led us out here today.
How many years?
We're not going to get into specifically who. I can tell you that it is several years old.
Are you looking for a body? I assume that's what's going on here.
I will let the equipment speak for itself.
You guys have been out here, Mitch, since 7 o'clock this morning digging. I mean, neighbors are saying they heard that there are 2 holes and there's a third underway. Can you give us more details about the digging aspect?
Sure. I think the digging process started late morning, early afternoon. The FBI is helping us. They are very meticulous in that process, and there's a very careful system and process that has to be followed when doing this type of search, especially when you're turning the dirt and you're using this type of equipment. So the FBI is doing that. That started late morning, early afternoon. Most of the search warrant throughout the morning was centered in the house, which is where we found the suspected narcotics.
Do you all believe bodies are in that backyard?
We've developed information to believe that this could be related to a missing person investigation.
So one potential missing person.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's not spread rumors or take rumors from social media.
When you say detained, were the 2 people arrested?
2 people were detained immediately after finding the suspected narcotics and to do the search warrant, and then 1 person is now going to be considered under arrest in custody related to the outstanding warrant.
Is one of the persons in custody the homeowner or the homeowner's roommates?
I don't have that information.
So just to clarify, the 39-year-old female is the one you said had outstanding warrants. Is she the one that's been arrested?
She's the one that has outstanding warrants, is in custody.
So then what about the male?
He's being detained right now.
Is that for the suspected narcotics, and she was just detained for the outstanding warrants?
Just being detained right now. We're still trying to sort through all the details.
Did both these people live in that house?
I don't have that information.
Were there any recent arrests at this property before this search warrant was executed today?
It's my understanding that this home has been the topic by neighbors for some time, and anything related to what they share with us or anything that our officers have been called to prior to today will all be part of our ongoing investigation.
How long do you expect the digging process to take place?
That's the million-dollar question. We don't know. We're not going to stop. I think that the fact that we're out here for a missing person case that stems from 2020 sends a clear message to our community that we don't forget about anyone that's missing or victims, and we're going to not stop here until we know that we have exhausted every clue or development that was brought to our attention.
Just to
tell us
clarify, that yard, I presume, is part of the property connected to the house.
So it started with the SWAT search for suspected narcotics and then turned into, based on what you developed more, did it start with the missing person and then narcotics were found?
It started with the missing person investigation. That's what led us here today. During the search warrant, that's where we found the suspected narcotics.
Can you tell us if the missing person is an adult or a child?
Is an adult. Thank you
20s,
for the
30s?
clar. I'm not sure the exact age. I just know it's a missing adult. Thank you for the
Can you say
clarification.
if it's a man or a woman?
Nope.
Okay.
And that person has been missing since?
Several years. We're not going to get into the specific year. Remember,
You did
the-
say
the-
2020. Just
2020.
You
Then
did say
I'll leave it to 2020. But keep in mind, guys, that there's when you start to think about all the number of people that are reported missing that might be victims, this turns up a lot of emotion for people, and we have to make sure that we are protecting our victims and the families of people that have been reported missing. So that's why we don't want to get into the specifics necessarily of the particular case, because this can cause a lot of fear when we don't know if this is even going to turn out to be anything worthwhile. This may be just a tip that we said, you know what, we had enough information, there were enough things that started adding up that we wanted to look a little further into this, which led us to the search warrant, the approved search warrant. But it's very possible that we don't find anything. But if we don't find anything, that case doesn't stop. You know, we're going to keep looking, and I want to reassure all of the families that have missing loved ones of that. We are not going to stop, and I think this sends that very clear message today.
With that in mind, have you been in contact with the family of the missing person?
We're not going to get into any of those details.
Do you need the help of the public in any way?
I think that would be fair. I think that, I say it time and time again. I mean, you guys have heard it, me talk about it during the Colin Brown investigation. You've heard me talk about it after our officer was injured in the line of duty, Nate Speece. From silver alerts to shooting investigations, our community helps us so much when it comes to solving crime. We know that we can't do that alone. So if there's anybody that has any information about this home here at Dewey and Delor, where we are centered today, please come forward. You can call Crime Stoppers. You can call District 1 detectives or District 3 detectives. It's a joint investigation, or Crime Stoppers. We know that there is certainly people out there that might have information or that tip that may help us solve this entire thing.
That piece of equipment, what's it technically called? You know?
I'm a PIO, not a machinist, so
Ask 'em.
or
Okay.
I don't work at Home Depot.
I want to ask you this, having said what you just said, I mean, have you learned any details about the people who live there? I mean, neighbors are saying it was a man and two roommates, male and a female roommates. What can you tell us about the people who live at that house?
The people that live at that house are familiar with the detectives assigned to this investigation. I'll just leave it at that.
And you're not saying whether the two people detained lived at the house, right?
I don't know if they live at the
You don't
house.
know. Okay.
But the two people who do live at that house, or the people that live at that house, are familiar with our detectives and this investigation.
Okay.
If there are any updates, or if there are any significant updates related to this search warrant, we will share that notification on X, and then we will provide another briefing depending on how this all develops through the next several hours. Work for everyone? All right, thank you guys.